g'day everybody. Today we're going to talk about the AMX1375, the French tank. It's a Tier 7 light tank actually. And in this match here, Winter Malanovka, we have a situation where we're up against Tier 8s. Now, light tanks invariably have great mobility. They have very poor armor, and they don't necessarily have great pen ability. And when I say pen, I'm talking about the rounds penetrating armor. So generally, everything's a compromise. Heavy tanks give away speed for armor. Light tanks give away armor for speed, and so on and so forth. So at this point in time, what we're trying to do is we've come down here to spot. Pretty much knew that the mediums and the light tanks and all that sort of stuff would come down here. And what we're actually doing is just putting in shots where we can and distracting the enemy. So a light tank is not all about doing damage. And I know that that's going to sound strange, but what I've noticed is that in all the light tanks that I've played, you can, obviously take damage where you can, but you can also help your teammates take damage too. And the way that you do that is you just keep niggling at the opposition. But we've got to be really careful that we're not, going to get completely smashed by one round of that SU-152, which, could absolutely tear us to pieces with one shot. So we've got to be really careful driving this tank. And I've got to say that light tanks really aren't for the inexperienced tank player in this game. They're for more people who have got a bit more experience. And so far, every shot I've lined up, I've actually not either had an opportunity to do damage, or I've tried to do damage and it's bounced. So you can see the limitations straight away that this 75mm auto loader gun has. It's not something that you can just race out there, go and hit point trade with another tank and think you're going to come off, better. Like you can, to some extent, with the AMX50B, the heavy tank, French auto loader heavy tank that is at Tier 10. Different line completely and a different play style. So what I'm actually doing here is actually coming up to take back Cap C. That is one good thing this tank is really good for. Obviously mobility, and the ability to go and actually take, caps back in supremacy, which is another way of winning the game. And a lot of people forget that in supremacy. They just want to go out and kill tanks, and they forget that it's actually the game's primary opportunity is to win by winning caps and taking caps and winning points. So you've got to manage both. You've got to manage not only the damage that you're doing, but you also got to manage the caps that you're taking. And certainly, if you're ever going to play tournaments, they are all supremacy matches. So it's not a bad idea to get into that groove of understanding how supremacy works. And for a very long time there, I had it switched off because I was around before supremacy came in, and that was the only way, was just play straight out matches. Then you can see what I was talking about here. I've taken no damage. I'm actually putting in damage now, and I'm just being an absolute pest. I don't want to be hit by the T-34. You see, I just missed out on that kill there. I could have had that, actually, but I just missed out on that. And we only low scored in this game. We only did like a 900. 650 damage. It's not high, but we did contribute, and I certainly did support the two Tier 8s who did a great job, two Tier 8 heavy tanks. Now, in this next match, I'm going to show you how vulnerable this tank is. This is a match where I'm trying to play it so carefully. I'm trying to do everything right, and I make one mistake, and within the space of 5 seconds, I'm completely destroyed from hero to zero, and it's all over Red Rover. And that's where you've got to be careful in something like this. A lot of new players will not find that they can play this the way that they usually play it, which is sort of straight up and get into it and start sort of shooting and things like that, you can do that. But see that one shot from the LTTB, and I get 200 damage against me. Um, and so he knows I've got 2 more rounds up my spout, and he's obviously just taking care at what he's doing with me. But now I've used up my clip. I've got to wait for a reload. I've got to get out of there. I've got no opportunity to fight back. So what I have to do is wait for my teammates to come back in, and then I can put some more shots in. And in that regard, we do a bit of damage and we help our team. And again, it's just putting in damage where we can. We just get the hell out of there, do our shots and get out of there. So far so good, right? Actually took a little bit of damage, delivered damage. We've killed a tank and are about to kill another one. So our team's 2 up. This is fantastic. So far I think played the tank reasonably well. Haven't done too many things wrong. So up here I see this SU-100Y. He took a shot and missed, which is typical of those things. Had he hit me, I would have been done. So now I'm able to put some more shots and more damage into him. And without knowing where the rest of the team is, this is my big mistake. So instead of sort of trying to work out where the rest of the team are, I've looked over here and gone, I can finish that SU-100Y off. Got the red mist on, and I'm going to just barrel over the top here and straight into absolute death. And here it comes. It's going to come very quickly. There's a EA Panzer. There's the SU. Put another shot of that, and it's gone. It's all over Red Rover. That's it. Done and dusted. So I took myself out of the game there. Actually think we went on and won that game, but it wasn't with me. So again, you've just got to be so careful the decision making. And that was, don't think that the speed of the tank is going to get you out of every opportunity. It won't. And obviously that was a massive noob mistake by me. And the reality is, it's a bad situation when you do that. But this in its entirety is a good, fun little tank. It's just not for the faint-hearted. I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just saying it takes some patience and it takes some understanding of how to operate the tank. You can see this is a technique that you use in something like an FV215183. The turret is at the back of the tank, so it means the tank's long. Great for doing things like side scraping here. I'm not looking to bounce shots, but I'm looking to sort of minimize how much of my tank is exposed. So because it's a small tank, I don't want to put too much of the tank out in front for other people to start shooting. I want to actually keep it in a way where if they do take a shot at me, they're likely to miss. And that is certainly some of the techniques I'm using here. Pushing forward to spot, then pulling back. So in case I'm spotted, I don't leave my tank exposed. So all these little techniques in a light tank, if you can master them, they do you so much effectiveness in a medium tank. So in a lot of ways, a light tank teaches you how to play a medium tank. And it's just with the medium tank you get away with it a bit more. And you can be a bit more mobile, closer to the combat. Where this is a tank where you need to sort of find the enemy at a distance. Try and find the enemy, and it's not about being a coward. And anyone who calls a light tank driver a coward for doing what I'm doing right here is an absolute noob. Because you saw in the last match, and that was a classic example of what I was saying, how quickly you can get wrecked in a game like that. And this is a tier 8 match again. And you look at that, I've got one shot in on that, and I was completely lucky. Just hit him in the right place. So at the end of the day, you can get shots in if you place it in the right place. You can do the right thing, by doing that, but you've got to manage your visibility, and you've got to manage the opposition's ability to see you. And you look at my frames per second is down really low here at the moment. One thing it doesn't have, and this is something to really take note of, is gun depression. You can see there I'm trying to get shots in on that IS-3, which is pretty ambitious really. And even that 152, put a shot in on him. and I'm just taking shots where I can see, where I can actually see a shot, but I'm pulling back. That tiger then just didn't have enough time in the reticle to get the aim on me properly to get a shot in. So I'm just using the mobility of the tank to climb all over these rocks. I'm actually going back into cover, and I'm using the fact that it's got great camouflage. All light tanks do. They have camouflage which is on the right, which means when you're going along, your camouflage resets, and therefore you can actually be unseen. And I'm sitting here up in these rocks in this bush, getting shots in. Some of them are hitting, some of them aren't. They know they're getting hit, but they don't know where from, they don't know what from, and they can't see me. So I'm just ducking in and out of this cover here, trying to put shots in and keep them spotted as well. I want to know at all times where that issue is, for obvious reasons. Now, how I made that shot, I don't know, but we did. And from our perspective, we're just trying to keep these guys busy and help our team. This is not a supremacy match. So we've still got plenty of time on the board. There's still 3 minutes on the board, and we're just wearing them down over time, slowly but slowly. And sometimes it takes an immense amount of patience to be able to do that. So what I've actually done here, I've decided that I'm not getting anywhere. I'm going to actually relocate and move to the other side of the map. Look at the speed this thing's putting on, 60 kilometers an hour, and now I can get shots in on those tanks. And again, I'm just 135 damage here and there, another one on that IS-3, and by relocating I was able to actually put more effective shots in that gave me the advantage. His advantage is his armor, my advantage is my speed, lack of visibility, which means that they can't really see me, and also my ability to get around and move. And you can see we just keep putting damage in. Just keep putting damage in here and there. I should have had that kill again, but it got stolen. And, you know, anyway, the team deserved that. That was a really well-played team game. So that is the AMX1375. And you can see we did 1,000 damage. And at tier 7, that's not high. Don't expect high damage from a light tank. It's just one of those things. It's a team game. Complete your role as a team player and help your teammates win the game, and you will go far. Your win rate will improve. Just keep subscribing to the channel. Keep liking the videos. Hope you're liking the content, and we will see you around. Thanks.